we have an absolute death grip on the stuff, pleading with the Lord, like, oh my God, please take this from me. Or, oh yeah, I need breakthrough. I need you to come in like all your military might and just blow this thing to smithereens and break the chains. And maybe like we're so blind to what's actually happening. And God's just like, bro, would you just open your hand and drop it?
Hey, what's going on? This is Brian, and Brian with the
Die a Little More podcast.
Awesome. Yeah, just wanted to thank you guys for listening. And, yesterday it was funny. I went to coffee with a guy, and I was sitting there talking and having this like awesome conversation with a dude who's a follower of Jesus. And I was like thinking, this is how this podcast was born, like across a table from you, like talking about the faith and talking about these deep, hard things, that go on in our lives. And wishing that we could have recorded the conversations. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And so anyways, if you guys are here, like that is kind of like our heart, is that you would just kind of be able to get into like some deep conversations about the faith, what it's like to be a man in this world, and to be like a father, a husband, an employee, and still be able to follow Jesus.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're joining us today, that's our heart, is just that, I was thinking like, there's been times in my life where I haven't had those conversations with guys and it sucks. And so our hope here is just that like, this reaches some guys, like if you don't have another guy to have these deep conversations with, that you can just hang with us and kind of be a part of our world and our thoughts, and hopefully it helps you grow in your faith as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this morning I was driving here and I was listening to a song, and it was called Breakthrough by Chris McClarney.
Oh, yeah.
Great song, and I was thinking like, man, like there's been so many times where I like have like, Lord, I need breakthrough. And I hear people talking about breakthrough and praying for breakthrough and all of this stuff. And I was just kind of listening to the song over and over again. And I felt like the Lord was saying this to me. And so I just wanted to read it to you and then, see what you think.
Yeah,
but
go for it.
Yeah, I felt like the Lord was saying, what if your breakthrough is more about you releasing your grip on the thing and allowing Jesus to overtake your thoughts, opinions, and ideals about the situation? Does breakthrough actually come when we release our death grip on something? When we allow him to come and comfort us in our pain?
That was way too heavy. My brain needs a second.
Yeah, well, I'll keep rapping on it, because I was like,
wow.
I was thinking like so many times, I'm like, Lord, I need a breakthrough, and like, when are you going to come, and like, when are you going to set me free, and like, right? But I felt like he was like, what if like the breakthrough is more about you releasing your grip on the thing, right? Like, I'll come, but are you going to like let it go?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm not going to force my way. Right? And like, what if it's a total flip, dude? We're like asking God to do breakthrough, but we've got the death grip on the thing, and we know we're not going to let go of it.
Oh, yeah. I just got the most interesting sight picture when you started reading that. This is so rad. It's like a squirrel trap, right? You get a box, you cut a hole in it just large enough for the squirrel to get his hand through, and then you put a nut inside, right? Squirrel goes after the nut, cannot get his hand back out because it's not big enough while he's holding on to it.
Yeah.
And so he sits there and A, gets caught, or B, dies because he can't get his hand through holding the nut. When all he has to do is drop the nut and then leave. I was laughing to myself right now because I'm like, yeah, that's us, dude. We have an absolute death grip on the stuff, pleading with the Lord, like, oh my God, please take this from me. Or, oh yeah, I need breakthrough. I need you to come in like all your military might and just blow this thing to smithereens and break the chains. And maybe like we're so blind to what's actually happening. And God's just like, bro, would you just open your hand and drop it. Just drop it.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like so many times I've been like, Lord, I'm like disappointed about this thing, or like I'm mad about this thing, or like, or when is this thing in my life going to change? And I'm like, yeah, and I feel like a lot of times the breakthrough has come when I end up releasing like my thoughts on the issue and releasing it to him, or like literally, but there's like a difference. Like I say I am, but like when I really release something to him, or like when I come into agreement with what he says, like maybe it's more of a mind shift than a breakthrough. And I'm not talking about like somebody being sick, or I'm not talking about like like things like that. I'm just talking about more like the hardships of life, struggles in our daily walk, our struggles with our thoughts, or struggles with sin, like, yeah, maybe it is just about releasing more to him.
Yeah, I think you hit on something too about aligning ourselves with what he says, right? I think that's crucial, because everything that we need we can find in the Word, right? Word of God has the answers to everything, every life situation, every problem, every circumstance. You can find all of your answers in the Word of God, right? Like it was set up that way by God for us to have an emergency manual for life, right? And I would venture off to say that if we would just look at the Word, we would realize that it's already accomplished, regardless of what it is, right? Like the answer is in there, but it's not like the answer was just done for us. The answer was completed, right? 2,000 years ago when Jesus died on the cross. Like his life and his ministry, it's like Bible says that he was tempted in all points, right? So he knows stress, he knows anxiety, he knows frustrations, he knows relationships. I mean, the list goes on and on. Everything that we deal with is like humans, right? He was subject to all of that. And so he took care of all that. And so I think that's really huge. It's aligning our thoughts and our heart, right? It's changing the posture and looking at it, I mean, literally probably through his eyes, right? I mean, like, what are you saying in this moment? Okay, you say we just need to drop it. Well, but I feel this way, or I have this going on. Well, yeah, but it's already taken care of.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think like the last line I wrote down there too, I said, when we allow him to come and comfort us in our pain.
Yeah.
And, maybe we're like looking for like breakthrough, like, like we got a family problem that's like, something happened in our past, let's just say, and we're like, we're burdened by it, and we're like in bondage to it. It's like, and we were like, God, like, why did that happen? Or like, when am I going to get over that thing? Because that thing bothers me still, And maybe like we're looking for like this magic pill breakthrough moment where we just no longer think about it.
Right.
And it's just, like the Lord just boop, But maybe the answer is that like, are we really willing to come to him and to be comforted? Like instead of going like, there's this magic breakthrough moment, maybe the breakthrough moment is when we bring the thing to him and we allow him to comfort us, like to say like the Lord would say to us like, yeah, I see that, and I'm really sorry that happened, and I loved you and I was there the whole time, and
right.
And you're not broken because of this, and like just if you give it to me and you allow yourself to have the pain moment and to be comforted by him, then and we can release it, maybe there's more breakthrough there. It's almost like this, like the dumb term, like the come to Jesus moment, with our thing. And that is us releasing it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
everything that happens in life, God turns into a teachable moment, right?
Yeah.
Like everything. But I think the hard part is us sitting still long enough, not being that squirrely, squirmy 4-year-old that just has the attention span of like a nanosecond.
Yeah.
Right? And then you compound that with going through something and hardships and things, and it makes it really hard to focus and pay attention. But I think it's crucial for us to mature as Christians, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially as men. You know, if we deny ourselves the ability to go through things and learn things, like
Yeah.
we won't mature,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's as adding on to what you're saying. If we would realize, you know, okay, God, what can I learn from this? You know, are there things about me that I need to change?
Mm-hmm.
Are there things about me that I need to let go or surrender to you for you to be able to change my perspective on,
Yeah.
right? Teach me in this moment, right? And then once he does that, we grow a little bit more, we mature a little bit more, and we recognize things a little easier the next time they come.
Mm-hmm.
And we begin that process of yielding to him, right? And submitting to him, where it's like, oh yeah, like last time I had something happen like this, I this is what the Lord said to do.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just go ahead and like go right to that now, instead of me like stressing out or freaking out or
Yeah.
like just biting the bullet and thinking I got to do it. Because let's be honest here. I mean, this is how we are as men, right? We love to self-isolate, right? We love to just be macho and just we're going to be tough and we're going to handle the situations on our own,
Yeah.
right? Because that's society teaches us that, you know, culture teaches us that. Like, you're a man, be a man, like handle your business, right? You got this. Take care of it. You do it yourself. And I think the trap in that is we start doing everything in our own strength,
Yeah.
which is really dangerous.
Right. Right. Yeah, and you know, there's a reality of like, you know, or maybe the reality should be that like when we want to self-isolate, we should, if we're gonna like remove ourselves from the situation, which is what we do,
Right.
then we need to be aware that like, well, we need to take this thing to Jesus
Right.
in that moment when I'm like, you know what, I'm freaking done, dude. I'm just gonna go away, right? I'm gonna go take my ball and go home,
Right. Right.
like when we have that moment, we need to go like Lord, like I'm upset, you know, and we need to
Yep.
take that thing to him and actually like have the pain moment with him, right? Instead of just like smashing it down into our innards, dude, like just like forcing it down, you know, or going to some sort of a vice that we do, you know what I mean?
So it's funny that you even say that, right? So I had a situation recently, dude. I won't get into the details or whatever, but I had a situation recently where I was really frustrated. Some things happened, and I was really upset. I was really mad. And I felt for the first time the ability and empowerment to take it to the Lord and tell the Lord exactly how I was feeling. Like, I'm really mad right now at this situation. I'm stressed out. I don't agree with it. And then just begin to just like empty my heart out before him and tell him all of the problems, everything, my opinions, everything I saw, everything. It's like, I don't agree with this. I don't agree with that. And this like this and this and that. And I was able to express my heart to him. And I've never felt the freedom before to do that. And I feel like that actually is the right way that he wants us to come to him, right? I think we get this picture of him being so far off where it's like, you know, I can't bother him with my problems, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever the case is. It's like he's that's the whole point, right? I think it's the Hebrew word. There is no Hebrew word for presence, right? It literally translates face to face, right? So it's like he literally wants to be face to face with us. Like every day, every minute, every second of our lives, where we are in this position where we're having to have a conversation. Like he's so close to us, face to face, that nothing can happen to us without him literally seeing it happen.
Yeah. That's good, man. I know. I it's funny. I go to counseling, and I went to counseling the other day, and after I left, I was kind of like, I walked out of there, and I had this thought that I was like, wow, like I just said like so much stuff to this guy, you know what I mean? Like I'm almost embarrassed or something, but how I just like threw up basically like all over this guy, you know? But I thought about it and I thought, man, that's just like a picture of who God should be to us, you know, like, and I was thinking, man, maybe if I like saw the reality of Christ around me, you know, like him being physically here, then I would talk to him in that same way.
Right.
And maybe I wouldn't need counseling. You know what I mean? But because like this thing of me just getting it all out and saying all the things, just like you just said,
Yep.
you were doing that. It's like you were having a counseling session with the Holy Spirit, and it is weird. It's like to get everything out, right? It's like when we're sick, dude, you got to puke all that stuff out,
Right.
or you still feel sick, and then as soon as you get it all out, you start to feel better.
Right.
But I think that's who the Holy Spirit is supposed to be for us, and we have to actually learn how to do that with Him.
So let's deep dive for a second, right? What is it for us as men that causes us to not want to go to somebody and share how we really feel? What does it boil down to? Trust. I don't trust
Yeah.
this person enough to share my heart because I don't know how they're going to react. I don't know how they're going to feel. I don't know how they're going to look at me. I don't know if they're going to judge me. I don't know if they're going to treat me different from now on. All of these thoughts go through our head, especially as men, right? We carry so much pride and hold our heads high and are supposed to do things ourselves and be self-sufficient and all of this, right? Well, I think that's the thing that the Lord's getting after, right? Well, how do you develop trust with somebody? You have to spend time with them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to value their opinion and their insight and their counsel. And they would expect them to do the same thing with you. It's reciprocated, right?
Yeah.
So the only way for us to do that and develop this trust is spending time with God
Mm-hmm.
to where we develop that in our relationship with Him, to where we get to the point where we feel comfortable enough, like throwing up on Him basically and just vomiting and just getting it all out, like as in the counseling session,
Yeah.
right? But that trust only comes just like it does. Like everything in the natural is a mirror of everything in the supernatural,
Mhm.
right? It's just set up that way. So if we have to trust each other and spend time with each other here on earth and, human to human, like God expects the same
Yeah.
between Him and us.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to take your dive off of a high cliff and go even further too.
Sweet.
You can't express yourself to someone unless you know and believe that you're loved,
Right.
and which is identity,
Right.
right?
Right.
Like I know that I can come to you and I can tell you anything because I believe that you love me,
Right.
as my friend.
Right.
And I can say anything to you. But if I didn't think that, and if I didn't know my standing in you,
Right.
yeah,
That's
right?
important. That's super huge.
If I didn't understand my standing, which is a me issue, right?
Right.
Then I wouldn't tell you the truth,
Right.
And I think that's like a huge issue too with us, with God. It's like, do we really understand how He sees us, And I've been thinking a lot about this. I mentioned this to you the other day about thinking about like little boy Brian, like me
Right.
when I
Right.
was little, and would I come down hard on little boy Brian, when he made a mistake or when he did something, that is silly or when he didn't understand something or, it's like I would never come down on him like I come down on myself.
Right.
Right. And learning to love myself and be like, you're just like a little boy, but you're all grown
Right,
up,
right.
but you're still that little boy who's like innocent and sweet. And even though you're not little, you should still be treated that way.
Right. Right. Come on, let's just be honest. It's like as men in society, it's like we're not supposed to talk about our feelings. We're not even supposed to have feelings. It's like dumb to have feelings as a man, right? That's just how we're treated. Right? You're not supposed to like be sensitive. You're not forget all that, right? Yes, we need to be strong. Yes, we need to be like all of that, right? The hunter-gatherer, right? The provider, the protector, all of that has been. But it's like a real, mature man that is secure knows how to talk about his feelings.
Mm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Not in a dumb, like, sissy way or being weird, or it's like none of that, right? It's like society's like distorted and perverted everything. It's being comfortable enough to talk about your feelings and be 100% honest about what's going on, where you're at in the moment, how you're feeling, and being okay with admitting even sometimes that I don't know what to do right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's where trust comes in, and it's huge, not be just interpersonal, but also with the Lord, where it's like, I really am at a loss and I don't know what to do right now. This is how I'm feeling, and I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. 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 I think like our greatest need when it boils down to everything is like we have a great need in our spirit to be loved.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I think like it's funny because like as men in the culture, we are really, or we're a lot of the times like really unaware of that, you know? So we just go like, well, like I bust my butt at work and I make, money for my family. So I like, but like really like you're wanting, you really want to be loved is why you're doing that. Or,
right.
Or you find, a wonderful woman and you get married and you're like, cause you want to be loved, but it's like, you're not really, and that's good too. But we do all of these things when the real reality is that like our heart's desire and the greatest need of our heart is to know that we're loved. And what's so crazy is that's what Christ did for us.
Right.
Right. But we're so out of tune. It's like the answer is there. And I feel like people in my life as I've grown up, they've always been like, your greatest need is just to be loved by God. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Like that's stupid. Like I hear you. I know that.
Right.
And it's like now the older I'm getting, I'm like realizing like, whoa, like those people were right.
Right. The religion and the enemy, dude, have worked overtime for centuries to try and cause this divide between us and the Lord, to where he is supposed to be this far off being, this angry judge that's ready to punish us for every single thing we do wrong because we're worthless and whatever. Like, forget all that. That's all trash. The intention, the way it's supposed to be, is him, Jesus, dying on the cross once for all, reinstating and restoring how everything should be by taking us back to that Garden of Eden moment that we've talked about before, right?
Yeah.
Where it's the simplicity of walking with him in the cool of the day, right? Just like Adam and Eve did. The daily conversation back and forth about life, how you're doing, how you're feeling. He's supposed to be that close, right? He's not far off.
Yeah.
Right? But it's so distorted and so messed up that's like we really don't even understand how it really should be. Right? And I think that's one of the reasons why the Lord has had us on this trip for a while, is trying to find out our identity and who we are, who he says we are, who we are in him.
Yeah.
Right? Because all of that plays into that, where it's breaking down all of that indifference and all the weirdness. And it's like I now understand like that he loves me and he cares for me, and it's okay for me to be manly and to be able to talk about my feelings. And it's like it's okay for me to not be sure about a decision I should make, or to tread carefully in a certain area because I'm not sure. All of that is acceptable to him.
Yeah.
He just wants to be close,
right,
and involved in every decision that we make.
Yeah, it's like, what if the reality of the Bible, the Gospels, the whole thing is that it is just a love story, right? But we've made it like
Wild.
It's a love story, right? He's like, you're my kid. We're separated. I solved that problem.
Right.
And now we can be one again,
Right.
And we make it to be all these other things. But I mean, that is essentially the story, is that God created us because he wanted us, It's like two parents having a baby. And then there was separation. And then he was like, man, I love this kid so much. Like, I'm going to solve it. And I solved it. And it's just a love story, but we make it about like a lot of other things when it's just like the greatest love story ever told.
Right. That's the polluting the water, right? It's getting it so so distorted that you no longer have that clear image and that clear view of what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
The water's been muddied.
Right.
Right. But once he clears all of that away and we realize, like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, you want to have a relationship with me? Like, you actually care about the things that I go through?
Yeah.
Like, you actually care when I'm angry and I'm upset? You actually want to be close to me when I'm, like, going through these things? And you want me to talk to you? Like, I mean, seriously, like, if I've known people that are mad that go to God and yell at God. Right?
Yeah.
Because they're just so angry and there's just got so much stuff going on. It's like they're literally yelling at God. And he's completely fine with that because he just wants to keep the line of communication open.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's what you do in a real relationship.
Yeah.
The lines of communication always have to stay open.
Yeah. That's true.
That's how it stays healthy.
Yeah. I've been that guy.
Right?
God, I am so pissed at you right now.
Right? How could you freaking let this happen to me?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. You know, it's crazy. I don't think I've told this story on the podcast, but I know I think I've told it to you. But I was at like a men's group or something, and I saw this guy there, and he was really struggling, and he was young, like way younger than me, like he could have been like my kid, you know. And I was watching this guy, and he was like so in a bad spot just because of things that were going on in his life that like he was like suicidal, you know. And I was like, oh my gosh, like it scared me. But I was looking across the room, and I was thinking that guy could be my kid. And if my kid was feeling like that, I would want to run to him and be like, dude, you are so deceived. Like,
Right.
you are so important.
Right.
Like, you are so loved. Like, I think you're like freaking amazing. Like, no matter what you're thinking, like, you're just totally wrong. Like, you are so loved. And like, I just would like pick him up. Like, if that was my kid, you know, and I felt like the Lord said, like, that's how I am with you.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're freaking out and when you are like just cracking under like life's pressure, you know, like I'm like, that's my little boy. Like, I hate seeing that, you know, and I love you so much. Like, you just are not seeing yourself right. You're not thinking right. You're just so lost. But like, he wants to just pick us up and love us, you know?
Yep. Yeah, that's real good. That's real good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he really wants to be involved at every level. I mean, he really does.
Yeah.
I just think it's really hard for us because the lines have been so distorted, you know? And very, very few, you know, I think find the path to be able to find out who they are in him because we let all of the things in life weigh us down and distract us and keep us from really venturing out and pioneering into the areas of our life and finding out, like, what does this all mean?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm going to read this one more time. I'm going to leave this thought with you guys. Just take it into your own kind of life and apply it and just listen to what the Lord wants to tell you. So,
Yeah.
what if your breakthrough is more about you releasing your grip on the thing and allowing Jesus to overtake your thoughts, opinions, and ideals about that situation? Does your breakthrough actually come when we release our death grip on something? When we allow him to come and comfort us in our pain?